Hey friends, today we're going to be featuring my Halloween pumpkin look. This look took me about 14 hours. Every year I plan on doing an inaugural Halloween pumpkin look, which will sort of open up the Halloween season. So this is going to be that video for 2019, so enjoy. In order to achieve this look, you're going to need a really nice aqua paint, preferably something with a little creamy texture. I like to use the Mehron aqua paint. Also, you're going to need a really high viscosity and high color eyeshadows. So the ones that I like to use are Urban Decay, or generally I always use Viseart. Viseart is a professional grade eyeshadow from Paris. It's an incredible line. I highly recommend you check it out. When this video starts, you're going to notice that I have no brows. I've already gone ahead and blocked them with a basic craft glue, and then a powder on top of that, followed by a liquid or a cream-based foundation. And I've used that cream foundation all over the face and the neck and brought it down to the chest. And I'm going to show you how to start a basic drag face in another video coming up very soon. For contour, I've used a Kryolan TV paint stick. Great product, I highly recommend it. I used 3 different shades. I used 2 shades darker than my own skin tone, then 2 shades darker than that, and 1 tone darker than that, varying from reds right down to a gray in order to get a different dimension of shadow. Then I've used 3 different shades of brown or eyeshadows or bronzers in order to give definition and depth to the contour. After that, I applied highlight powder in the same areas as before. Then I've taken what was left in the powder puff and I've applied it all over the contour areas just as a blend. So at this point, what I'm doing is I'm taking off the makeup from the tears, so whatever areas that I want torn off, and to expose the pumpkin, I'm taking a makeup wipe and I'm just literally taking it off, that's all. Taking a flesh tone pencil, such as the Makeup Forever artist pencils, which are awesome, what I've done is I've sketched out the tears and the areas that I want the flaps of the skin to come over the pumpkin itself. What I've done at this point is I've started playing around with the idea of a claw pulling the skin away and the pumpkin creature coming out of my body. Whereas I've drawn 4 knuckles on the top, which are the top 4 knuckles, these punching knuckles, and then 4 more knuckles under that to represent the knuckles of the finger. At this point, what I'm doing is I'm mapping out the mouth, which is really important. You do have to make sure that the top teeth and the bottom teeth line up, otherwise it's not going to look quite right. You do have to remember that a mouth closes, and in order for a mouth to close, the teeth have to interlock. Now we get to start with color. The first color that I use is actually not a bright orange, it's a soft peach or a coral color. The reason I do that is because when you're shading and when you're looking at colors, I tend to start from the darkest to the lightest. I'm applying this generally at the darkest reaches of the pumpkin groove. Now I apply orange and then I blend the two together with a dry brush. At the high points of every groove, use a yellow and then blend. This is where things get really fun. I'm starting to shade with eyeshadow using a Viseart palette, using a purple to start and moving it into the high part of the groove. I'm reinforcing the aqua paint colors using a red, an orange, and a yellow. I'm going over the aqua paints with an eyeshadow in order to make the colors bolder and brighter. The trick of this look really is a lot of blending. Dark purples, dark blues, into oranges, reds, and yellows, and sometimes whites for the higher grooves. So the trick really is about shading. I've gone ahead and I've painted a full drag eye as well as the eyebrows. I've also started on the vines of the neck. When you start with the vines of the neck, because you're using a green as the base color, what I would do is start with a blue in order to get a good color block going. I also went ahead and outlined the mouth with a black artist pencil from Makeup Forever. I do not recommend you do this at this point, only because you will drag your hand across it and leave black splotches everywhere, which I did. In the deepest recesses of where the vines are, you now start to add brown colors. I ended up using yellow on top of the green, so what that does is it really pulls the color out, so it makes it look more green, more vibrant, more alive. Time for the green. The best part about the Mehron makeup is that you can layer. The more you layer, the brighter the color, the more vibrant. So what I would do is start with a thicker line with one layer, and with each subsequent layer, do a thinner and thinner line. Using a light cream and then more of a yellow tone on top of that with an Aqua Paradise paint, I went over the eyeshadow and started to define with a little bit of a highlight on the wrinkles of the hands. In order to get the highlight effect of the skin where it's been torn, I've gone ahead and I've chosen one side where the light is going to be reflecting from. On that side of every tear on the face, I've drawn a simple white edging across the skin. This part I'm not sure if it reads or if it worked really well, but what I wanted to do was give the idea or the illusion of the grooves of the pumpkin moving into the top side of the face that's still covered with skin. So I've drawn a couple of white lines across the eyebrows that line up perfectly with the grooves of the pumpkin down here. Using a purple and a blue eyeshadow, I've got along the edging of the skin, just under it, and just drawn in opposite sides of the white where I put in the pencil highlight. I'm going to use a shadow to do the low light or the shading. What I've done at this point is I've taken a brown eyeshadow and a pencil and I've drawn a triangle on the neck, only to give the illusion that the skin has been torn or ripped open. If you ever want to get a 3D effect on something, a great technique to use is drawing a shadow. So if the fingers are curling around an object, using a shadow in a straight line to denote some sort of a light source gives a great illusion of 3D, and that the hand or whatever it is you're drawing is pulling away from whatever the object is. This is my favorite part. Every year when I do the pumpkin, this is the part I look forward to the most. For some reason, the black, it just recedes the color and everything else comes out and the entire look just takes shape. This can be a hard part to do. I would be very careful. I would breathe through it, only because if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. Right here you can see with the black painted in, just in the mouth alone, that it's really changed the shape of the face. It's really brought out the colors, it's brought out the green here, and the hand seems to come alive a little bit more. It's really exciting. I really love this part. I went back in with the shading on the grooves. I went in with a little more purple. So when you're filling in the nose, be very, very careful. What you should really do is paint the nose first and then the mouth. Right at the end, I like to go over everything with a blue, really in the dark areas. The areas that I want to be shaded and to be the darkest recesses, I add a little bit of blue. Of course, the very last step that we're going to do is we're going to add our drag lashes, usually 301s double stacked. I hope you enjoyed this look. I've really enjoyed doing this video for you. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.